blinded me with science.
Brought to you today by Channel of Health, where you can be informed and empowered about your health and healthcare issues that are important to you. I'm your host, Dr. Valda Crowder. Everyone calls me Dr. V. I'm a board-certified emergency medicine physician. I've been working for over 30 years, and I've treated patients over 4 pandemics, a mass shooting, and a Category 4 hurricane. I'm excited today about our topic, which is urgent. Self-care is your life support. So if you want to weigh in on this conversation, give me a call at 1-800-450-7876, 1-800-450-7876. So, when we talk about self-care, it might sound kind of simple, but it's actually really revolutionary and really makes a difference. A lot of people are living in a state of chronic stress, and that can be caused by trauma or our political discourse and conflicts, global conflicts, economic uncertainty. Some people have lost their jobs. Some folks are getting out of college trying to get a new job and having difficulty. And there's just overall a barrage of information that is occurring and coming at us through all different devices, right? We have our phones, we have our emails, and sometimes our nervous systems really operate sort of in overdrive. Researchers actually have a name for this. It's called headline stress disorder. And it's basically where your body is basically responding to distant threats as if it's causing you immediate danger. And here's what the science tells us, is that when you are exposed to stress, what happens is our bodies release a lot of the stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. It really doesn't matter whether or not it is a stressful situation that we're hearing about, reading about, or actually experiencing, or may have actually experienced it in the past. These stress hormones are really designed to help you escape immediate physical danger or threats. They're not meant to actually stay elevated for weeks and months. So it's really supposed to be a temporary response that your body has. When you're actually exposed to chronic stress or chronic trauma, then what happens is these enzymes stay elevated in your body for a much longer time than they should be. They can lead to weight gain, fatigue. They actually physically shrink the front of your brain. The front of your brain, which is your prefrontal cortex, is actually part of your brain responsible for decision making and emotional regulation. And they can enlarge the amygdala, which is the fear center of your brain. So this isn't really about really just feeling overwhelmed. Being overwhelmed can really disrupt your immune system, your sleep. It increases inflammation in your body and impairs your ability to really think clearly. So it's really, really important to disrupt this cycle, right? Because what happens when this continues and goes on, you become more reactive, less empathetic, and it's much, much harder to actually really engage constructively in the issues that you care about, and also to problem solve in a way that is important. So here's the thing. Self-care is not selfish. It is actually really about being strategic. And when we take care of our minds and bodies, we are literally rewiring our brain for success and resilience. So I want to really talk about this today. I think this is really important. I'd like to kind of know, what do you do to take care of yourself daily? How are you taking care of yourself in this particular environment? Even if you're struggling and you feel like you are struggling to really take care of yourself and you want to sort of figure out how you can do it better, I really want to hear from you so we can learn from one another and move forward in this area. We got a caller on the line, but before I actually bring the caller on the line, I want to go quickly to some news you can use, because the vaccine panel actually met this week and really came up with a lot of different recommendations recommendations that were kind of confusing. So I want to really make sure everybody knows what we at the colleges are recommending. So the American College of Emergency Physicians, the American College of Pediatrics are all really coming out and actually making their own recommendation because of the confusion. And the recommendation is for people to actually, if they have not had any reaction to the COVID or the flu vaccine, and they are over 18 years old, that everyone actually get the COVID and the flu vaccine. If you have some questions or concern about whether or not the COVID or flu vaccine is for you, I tell people, call your physician, ask your primary care doctor what you should do about the COVID and flu vaccine, but you want to make sure that you enter into the winter season protected as much as possible. There are some states where they're requiring a prescription. There's some states where you can actually just go and get it. I actually just got my COVID vaccine last week. I'll probably get my flu vaccine next week. This is the time sort of to get it so your immunization in your body can actually get up to a point where it is protective for you. All right, I'm going to bring in the first caller, Mr. Ron.
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good. So tell me what you've been doing around self-care, or have you been struggling with it or doing something different?
Well, I've done something different since my heart attack. I had a heart attack in February this year.
Okay.
And they had to put a stent in.
Okay.
And ever since then, I've changed a lot of things I've done. I've always worked out.
Mm-hmm.
I've added a lot more workout to my program. Now I'm working out 5 days a week. Between a bike, treadmill. I just bought a row machine this weekend.
Okay.
From Peloton, and I changed my eating. Where I eat at least a salad for a meal, either for lunch or for dinner.
Right. Okay.
The other meal, I try to eat whatever I want. I've added different vitamins to my regimen.
Okay.
So
when you had your heart attack in February, did you did you know you had cardiovascular disease? Did you know you had blockages in your artery, or
No, I didn't. I was just out doing some work in my garage, and all of a sudden my body just started sweating, and I didn't know what it was. My wife rushed me to the hospital, and they told me I was having a heart attack. Okay,
so you didn't even have chest pain?
Didn't have no chest pains. Chest pains didn't come in until probably 10 minutes after the sweating.
Okay, so you just broke out in a sweat?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went to the hospital and they put a stent in, and so you did not have surgery. You did not have bypass surgery.
No bypass. They actually did the where they go in through the wrist.
Right. Exactly. Okay. All right. And then did you had a blockage that was, did they tell you 90%, 100%?
It's like 98%.
98%. Wow.
And I had another blockage that was right around 50%.
Okay, gotcha.
So they didn't want to do anything with that one because they don't like to do anything, they told me, until it was at least 70.
Right.
And I had my checkup with my cardiologist, and he gave me 100% that everything cleared up.
Okay, great.
Including the 50%.
Oh, so wait a second. I just want to make sure. So so you had a 50% blockage, and it reversed itself.
Yes.
Okay, so this is what a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people don't realize that you can reverse cardiovascular disease with your diet. So tell me well, first of all, what sort of diet did you change? What were you doing before as far as exercise? What are you doing now? And then what did you
work out? I would work out maybe maybe 3 days a week.
Okay.
About 30 minutes on either the treadmill or the bike.
Okay.
Today I work out 30 minutes on the treadmill, 30 minutes on the bike, and then 10 minutes on the row machine, and I do that 5 days a week.
Okay. All righty. And then what was your diet like before versus what is your diet like now?
I eat whatever I want to eat.
Before you were eating whatever you wanted to eat?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So wait a second. Wait a second. I want to know what that is. I mean, would that be like McDonald's?
Anything. I had chicken. I had shrimp, sausage. No matter what it is, I ate it. You put it in front of me, I sit down and eat it twice a day. I was never a big bread eater, but I've just monitor everything that I put in my body.
Okay. All righty. So
no sodium. I wasn't a big sodium person anyway, but I really watched sodium. I really watched the sugar intake. I'm watching how much red meat I eat now. I don't eat as much. I eat pretty much salmon almost every other day.
Okay. All right. So you more fish and more vegetables.
Yes.
Yeah. So
vegetables, because I'm eating kale and everything.
Right. Now, what about? Do you find that? Do you feel like you're missing out on anything?
Not at all.
Okay.
Actually, I feel 100% better.
Okay.
I had the stress test done about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And last week he called me up and told me, actually, my heart is showing that it's never had a heart attack. And
so you've gotten
3 months.
Yeah. So let me just make sure I explain that to people. So when you actually have a heart attack, you have they check your ejection fraction, right? And a normal ejection fraction is usually 65%. So basically what you're saying is you got your ejection fraction, or the squeeze of your heart, came back to normal.
Yes, but it was at around 65%.
Gotcha. Okay. All righty. And you don't know what it was during the heart attack?
No.
Okay.
I only know after the I think the first test, I think he told me it was functioning around 65%.
Now, what about, like, do you ever feel like going back to that, or do you feel like because it's kind of hard for some people to make the change, and tell me what, do you get tempted to just go back to eating whatever you want, or do you?
No. I never, at this point, sometimes it takes a person to learn the hard way. That heart attack scared the bejesus out of me, so I've changed my wicked ways, and that's it.
Right.
But I've never, I've never smoked, I've never drank, I've never tried drugs, never drank coffee. So I didn't have a cholesterol problem. I didn't have diabetes, nothing,
Right. So you were already sort of living a somewhat healthy lifestyle. You just kind of made it healthier.
Correct.
Right. And I'm actually going to do a show that what you're actually describing with more fish and vegetables is what we kind of call almost like a Mediterranean diet. And a lot of people don't realize that you can actually reverse cardiovascular disease, where we have plaques that are 50, 60, 70% that will actually go away when people change their diet. One of the main people that people will know and remember that actually did this was President Clinton. Former President Bill Clinton actually had a significant problem with cardiovascular disease. He was always, seen, remember, at McDonald's. And he actually went to one of the Cleveland Clinic's health center and actually reversed his cardiovascular disease with his diet. So that is something that you can see. It has been proven scientifically. It's not, it's not woo-woo. It's for real. So, well, what would you say to anybody who's out there struggling?
Well, I would say, I think health is number one. I've always watched my health. I just ate whatever I wanted to eat, thinking that my body would be okay because I work out, a couple times a week.
Right.
But I realized once I had the heart attack, I realized my weight was extremely high. I was 275 pounds.
Okay.
And I'm now down to like 234, 235.
Okay.
Since the heart attack,
right.
I'm on my way down to the teens.
All right.
My body fat is somewhere around 19%.
Mm-hmm.
I actually I've invested in what they call a Hume band. It's HUME. I wear that every day. I do. I check my weight on this. It's a body scan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it shows you all of your vitals, everything that you want to know, your fat intake, you know, how much your leg weigh, how much your arm weigh, everything.
Right. And it tells you, I've seen those, and it also tells you, I have one of those scales at home too, and it tells you the percentage of body fat. It tells you how much water is in your body.
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of tells you.
How much water in your body. It tells you everything. And I actually wear the band every day, 24/7.
Wow, okay.
And I really keep track of everything now.
All right, well, good for you. That heart attack has made you turn around. All righty,
yes,
hey, thanks for sharing. All righty.
Yes, thank you.
All righty, great. What the health is happening? That is the question. It is also the name of my new podcast, where you can literally get life-changing advice. What the health is happening is where I give you the inside scoop on health matters and empower you with information on everything from breaking news to health and medical updates. What the health is happening is your dose of medical reality with me, Dr. V, and my friends from the front lines of healthcare. You can get What the Health is Happening. You can download it, subscribe, comment. It is on all podcast platforms. Before I go to some other questions, I want to actually share some small, quick tips that would be actually really important. A lot of times people are really, wonder sort of where can I start with this whole self-care thing? And, it was great talking to Mr. Ron, and he's actually made some real significant changes, but there's also some small things that you can do. A couple of things that I really would recommend, and some of these I've actually done myself, and I'll share with you kind of what I've done. One thing is that I find that it is less stressful if I read the news rather than watch the news. And in some cases, I actually turn the news off. I've been actually looking at a lot of the cooking channels and looking at things that I might want to try or do at home, some of the organizational channels, etc. The other thing is that if you're having a stressful day, or you can make part of your day just going outside and walking for 5 minutes. Most of us in our jobs can actually get a lunch break or have something where we can go outside and actually get out of the environment. So it's really important to get out of the environment and sometimes go into nature, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Stretching or walking really makes a big difference. I also tell people, in addition to news, you really want to be careful your consumption of social media. Folks get into kind of scrolling and don't actually think about how much time they're actually spending scrolling. But you kind of want to sometimes have a no device day, no TV, no phones, etc., and see if that really makes a difference. I always tell people, remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup, and it is really, really important that you take care of yourself. And so these sorts of things, and I have a couple of other things that I think are really important is that people actually forget when they actually are dealing with self-care is the importance of sleep. So I have a lot of people who say, I don't really have time to take care of myself. Well, you do actually have time. Almost all of us sleep. And how can you make your sleep more restful? What can you actually do? Do you need the TV on in your bedroom? Do you need to actually have the room completely dark? What are the things that you actually need to do to have a more restful sleep? So, all right, we get a lot of emails and a lot of questions, and I've got a couple of questions that were actually emailed into me, and I've got a question from Don from DC. He says, Dr. V, I recall you sharing something about the harm of marijuana on one of your shows, but from where I sit, it's the only thing that naturally calms me down and helps me to cope with my anger and my anxiety. I'm not taking pills, but do you have any other natural recommendations? So, I did do a show on on marijuana, and I sometimes feel like I need to update it every couple of months or so. But I do want to kind of talk about it because I know there's a lot of folks that use marijuana. There's a lot of folks that use alcohol. There's a lot of folks that use a lot of things to sort of calm down and stress down dial down from their day. And I always say to people that I think that it is okay until it becomes a crutch. If you get to the point where you feel like you can't calm down without that crutch, without the marijuana, without the glass of wine, or whatever it may happen to be, it could be some other illicit drug. If you get to the point where you cannot calm down without that, and that is the only way you can calm down, that is when I always tell people it is a problem. You want to have, just like you have a lot of tools in your toolbox, you want to have a lot of ways that you can actually calm yourself down and self-soothe when you are actually anxious or angry or sort of revved up. So I tell people it's good to have, 10 or 15 ways that you actually know to calm down. So whether or not it's breathing or going for a walk. My favorite one is sometimes I just take a nap. I just go lights out. You know what I mean? Right? And I also tell people, look at how you can actually even calm yourself with what you wear, or what you say, or maybe I'm not going to follow up on this phone call or email. Maybe I'm not going to respond to what someone said to me. So look at ways to actually kind of adjust your environment in that way. But I always tell people, I think that, when you talk about things like marijuana and alcohol and things that are illegal, I think that it's important that they not be a crutch. And if they become a crutch, that's when it's really a problem, and you really have to look at expanding all of the various things that you can actually do in your environment. Alrighty, we've got another question here from Rana. Rana says, Dr. V, with everything that's going on, I'm very concerned about annual seasonal depression that I experience. Can vitamin D help with that? And are there other supplements that you would recommend? So this is actually, Rana, this is a really good question, because self-care really becomes important as we actually go into the fall and the winter, because this is a time period where we have more stressful things coming at us. We have all the holidays coming up, and we also have less sunshine. And I know myself and a lot of other people out there are affected by seasonal affective disorder. And seasonal affective disorder is basically when you are very sensitive to darkness. So when the days become shorter, it can throw off your sleep-wake cycle. Some people actually get what they call SAD, and they call seasonal affective disorder, SAD, the SAD disease, because some people actually get down and depressed. So a couple of things that are really, really important. So you talked about vitamin D. Vitamin D is very important. But the other thing that is important, which I actually do, is they have sun lamps that actually mimic the sun that you can place in your house. I probably have at least 5 of them, right? And you literally turn them on, and they actually mimic the sun, and it's like having a summer indoors when it's January and February. One of the ones that I like that is my favorite actually has an alarm clock, and the alarm clock is not any sound. It is literally the sun coming into your room. And you wake up with the sun, as opposed to any sort of noise. And so I personally have found that to be very effective. You do, from these sun lamps, actually get the vitamin D. It's 30 minutes. 30 minutes with these lamps will actually give you the vitamin D that you actually need for the day. So, all righty, great question. All right, we only have a couple of minutes minutes. I want to thank everybody for this conversation today. The show is produced by the nonprofit Channel of Health. You can always go to channelofhealth.org. The mission of Channel of Health is to inform, educate, and empower communities about pressing health and healthcare issues. Channel of Health actually has an upcoming MCAT course that is getting ready to start. So if you have any young people that want to get into medicine, they need to get on our website, channelofhealth.org, or send an email at info@askdrv.us. I had so much fun talking to you. We are here to answer your most pressing healthcare questions. So email me or send me an audio message at info@askdrv.us. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at askdr_v. That's askdr_v. And we will be back right here next week. And next week, I'm going to be talking about autism. Because we actually have an autism report that's coming out, I figured this needs to be our topic for next week. All right, I look forward to talking to you all next week, and hang in there and make sure to take care of yourself. It is important.
She blinded me with science.